Namaste. Welcome. My name is Todd Norian, founder of Ashaya Yoga. Welcome to this extraordinarily live session with technical glitches and all. So I hope you can all hear me. And I thought I would start with some chanting, which is really wonderful. Before we start, thank you for joining me, and please share this experience with others so we can help more people find and participate in the practices for inner peace. And also just to mention that I'm starting Blankets of Grace, a series of 5 sessions tomorrow, and registration is still open. You can go to ashayayoga.com to register, and I've extended the special offer to all of you, so if you register, you can bring a friend for free. And it's Blankets of Grace, practices for sound sleep and deep rest, where I'm going to talk really a lot about how to do a deeply relaxing experience, Shavasana, to help us shift out of anxiety and shift back into our relaxation response. So there's more information on the website, so I hope you'll join me for that. For today, I wanted to say a couple of things about what keeps us from being in that state of inner peace. And certainly it's the being caught in the survival mechanism. But the yogis talk about reality in 3 phases. So there's the creation phase, there's the maintenance phase, and the dissolution or dissolving phase. And we're in any of these 3 phases, or in all of them all at the same time. And when we're free and open, and when we're flowing, we go easily from one phase to the next, where we're not so attached or clinging to anything. And the state of anxiety starts when we're pulled out of that state of inner peace for survival purposes usually, or there's some problem that comes up, or we're not getting a need met, or sometimes there's even a trauma that happens and pulls us out. And much of the time it's because we're in a state of non-acceptance of one of these 3 phases. And one of the things that creates anxiety and that creates negative emotions like guilt and regret, and just basically it's trying to change the unchangeable. So regret is, we regret what we said in the past, or we feel bad about something that we did in the past. And yes, we can feel bad about it, but to obsess over that, there's nothing you can do about it. The best thing is to learn from the past, bring wisdom from the past into the present so you can secure a better future. But we get caught in these cycles of trying to change the unchangeable. So my invitation to you today is, in order to get back to the state of inner peace, can you shift so that you recognize that whatever it is you might be trying to change could be unchangeable. The only thing we can change is ourselves. So trying to change anything in our external reality is one of those unchangeable things. And we spend a lot of energy, we lose a lot of energy by trying to change the unchangeable. The other thing that helps us come into the present is to learn how to savor the experience we're having. And savoring the experience means you're in it. The term is rasa, which means to taste. You're in the taste of life itself, compared to thinking about it, judging it, rejecting it, or resisting it. All those experiences will pull us out of this state of inner peace. So there's quite a yogic practice to come back into a state where you're just there savoring the experience you're savoring. To do that, we have to release our attachment to wanting it to be how it was, or not wanting it to go forward. And we come to recognize that life can only move forward. And all grief and pain and suffering is when life moves forward, but you didn't. And it never works. So we want to learn how to be more fluid, to be able to flow from the creation to the maintenance to the dissolution states, to be able to master the flow through all these cycles of changing phenomenon, which is what reality is. So take a comfortable seat, sit up tall, close your eyes, take a deep breath. As you exhale, release any stress or strain from this day. Again, inhale and open to the bigger energy. And then exhale, release any struggle or resistance or attempts to change the unchangeable. Inhale and invite the light of the universe to fill you. Let go a little bit. Lengthen your side ribs. Take the head of your arm bones back. Lift your throat and draw your palate back. Align with the bigger energy. And each exhalation, soften your skin. Come back into your heart. Welcome yourself home in your heart throughout this practice. And breathe yourself there continuously. Begin to release trying to change the unchangeable. And come into your heart where there's deep acceptance for everything just the way that it is. And yes, you might be able to change things for the future. But right now, let yourself flow with the breath. Flow with the cycles of the breath. Creation is on the inhalation. Sustenance is during the inhalation. And then as you exhale, let go the dissolution, release attachments, and draw yourself in the heart in the present moment and dwell there for a few moments. Set an intention for yourself for the next hour to be curious about how to savor the experience you're having. And then bring your palms together in front of your heart. To begin the class, we'll chant Om 3 times together. And then we'll chant the Shantih mantra, which there should be a PDF handout somewhere on the Facebook page there. That was sent out earlier today. So if you need the words to it, they're all in Sanskrit, then you can find that and read that as we go along. I'd like to chant one more. This is to the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, wind, and sky. And the words are Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha means I honor and I bow to the five elements, to the three phases of reality as they exist in reality. And the five syllables are Namah Shivaya, which are the five elements. We'll chant call and response at first, and then you can join me. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namo Namaha. 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 Together. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namo Namaha. 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 Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namo Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Draw into the center of inner peace deep inside and savor the experience to be released from changing anything. Just let yourself be supported and surrounded by peace, by light, by all that is good. And to your own heart, you can gently bow. You ready? You open your eyes. Namaste. Okay, come on up to a standing position. We'll begin some stretches. Just got to move the band.
Todd, do you need more space in the front?
Okay. Is that better? That's all you're going to get. Okay, come to the front of your mat. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Exhale, and fold forward. Let out a sigh. Oh. Feet parallel, hip distance apart. Let go a little bit here. Use your breath. Release, trying to change the unchangeable. Although if you do have tight hamstrings, you might be able to change that by just breathing into it. Now, lift and spread your toes. 5 toes represent the 5 elements. So make sure your earth toe, which is your little toe, is up. And then isometrically pull your heels backwards so the hamstrings start to engage. Bend your knees slightly so your shin bone is perpendicular to the floor. And then take the top of your knee back. So the back of the calf has to lift and go forward, but the top of the knee goes back. Put your palms on the back of your calves. Push your calves forward, but take the tops of your knees back. Good. This will prevent hyperextension of the knee. Exhale, release, let go, and savor. Inhale, lift the light of your heart forward. And then exhale and bow. Let go of neck and shoulders. Inhale, shine inner peace forward. And then exhale again. Bow, release attachment. And then continue several more times. Go at your own pace. And just savor the swinging motion of your torso, the stretch in your legs, the flow of your breath. Relax your eyes. Now, exhale, step your right foot back into lunge. And bend your right knee all the way down to the floor. It's okay to use blocks underneath your hands, as you may need. And then scissor your legs toward the middle with the longing to savor. Twist to the left, so left hand on your left leg. Lift your heart up a little bit. As you twist your heart toward the sky, root your pelvis toward the floor. Savor the stretch. You might feel it in your hips, your quad, your spine, your shoulders, your neck. And breathe. Exhale, release. And then walk your hands over to the right. I'll show you this way. Up this way. And then bend your elbows and see if you can bring your forearms all the way down. If you can't do that, these blocks are very handy. So you come down like this. It's way easier. But if you can go all the way down, do so. Again, scissor your legs. Scissor to savor. And breathe. Drag your back knee forward isometrically and pull your front foot back. Now, see if you can let go through the middle of the upper back, right behind the heart. That's it. Inhale, come up onto your hands, and then walk your hands back and stretch your left leg straight, root the heel, and drag isometrically back. Root your left thigh toward the floor now. Tail in, and then exhale and fold. Full deep breaths. Try to meet the intensity of the sensation with more breath. Inhale, come up part way. Twist to your left. Cross your right hand to the outside of your left shin, and then bow again. And breathe. It'll be a little more intense with the twist. Now each time you exhale, see if you can let go a little bit more. What pulls us out of that state of inner peace is attachment to the way things were. Through the three phases of reality, we get stuck in any one of them. Or some people just like the creation phase more, but sustaining is just boring. And then some people, the dissolution, the letting go, that's the hardest part. To be able to release and let go and turn the page. So with each exhalation, at the end of the exhalation, imagine that's another turning of the page. So that every breath is a way to honor the cycles. And you want your breath and your life to be a real page turner. Inhale, come up. Bend your left knee. Lift your right knee up. And then you're going to squeeze your legs toward the middle and gradually come up, hands to your hips. Inhale, arms up overhead. Sweep your right arm back behind you, left arm forward, turn to face the right. Sweep your arms up, and then do the same thing, opposite side. So your right arm forward, left arm back, and twist, look behind you. Inhale up, one more. Exhale, right arm back, left arm forward. Inhale up, and then twist to the left, right arm forward, left arm back. Inhale up, and exhale, sweep your arms down, step forward, Uttanasana, and feel the difference between your two legs now. Inhale, heart forward halfway, and then exhale, left leg back, lunge. Bring your left knee all the way down to the floor, and scissor your legs. Pull the left knee isometrically forward with the right heel back. Scissor and savor. So we want the level of sensation to be not too intense, but not like you're not feeling anything. So I like to think of it as mild, tolerable discomfort. And then you breathe into it when you exhale. See if you can let go of the tension. That's the whole point of the practice, to be able to release. And sometimes you can't release something until you feel it. You can't heal what you can't feel. Walk your hands over to the left and bring your forearms down or onto a block as needed. Melt the upper back. Scissor your legs again. And then widen your left thigh to the left isometrically and take your outer right hip crease back and down. So the right hip really moves more and more toward the earth. Continue to breathe, continue to let go. We're going to do a nice long shavasana at the end, so inner peace awaits. But we want to learn how to savor every phase of the experience, not just the end. Inhale, slowly come up. Right hand on the right leg, let's do a twist to the right. Inhale back to center, scissor your legs. Left knee up. Now, you've got to really hug your legs to make this transition. Come up, hands to hips. And then stretch your arms up. We'll do the leg stretches coming, I know. And breathe. So now, your left heel goes back, right shin goes forward. Root the pelvis down, but rise up. And then left arm back, right arm forward. Look to the left. And then inhale, sweep your arms. Keep your legs steady the whole way. And exhale, right arm back, left arm forward. Look to your right. Balance can definitely be a factor, but switch. Use your breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, right arm back, left arm forward. Inhale up, arch back a little bit. And then exhale. Come down to the floor, left knee down. Stretch your right leg straight. Come up onto the right heel. I know you're all waiting for this one. Secretly going, all right, he forgot. Root your right heel, drag isometrically back. And the right thigh now needs to push toward the floor. Breathe. Pull your tailbone in and then fold. Very intense. Take your outer right hip crease back more. Inhale, come up part way. Twist to your right. Take your left hand to the outside of your right shin and then bow again. It's interesting, just putting a little twist in this stretch really increases the suffering. Try to savor your suffering. Scissor and savor while you suffer. And then exhale, release. All for good reasons. Okay, now step back, downward facing dog pose, and alternately press your heels to the floor, bend the opposite knee, so you get some really good calf and back of the ankle stretch. Breathe. Inhale, right leg up. Try to lift through the inner right thigh more. Your knee's going to spin toward the floor. And as your right leg goes up, take the base of your left shin back. Breathe. Everybody claw your finger pads. Lift your arm bones higher, but melt the heart more. When your arm bones go up, it really supports your upper body. You come into alignment. It's much easier to melt the upper back. So we come into alignment. That allows us to let go more. And then stretch. Exhale, big lunge forward with the right leg. Walk your hands over to the left. I'm just going to switch so I'm mirroring you. And then scissor your legs. Come on up, right forearm on the right thigh, left hand to the hip. Bend your front knee so the knee comes directly over the ankle. Check to see that your front heel bisects the center of the back foot. And then scissor your legs toward the middle. Move your thigh bones back. Draw your tailbone in, heart toward the sky. Bring your left hand behind your head, and instead of your elbow way up, bring your elbow toward the forehead. And then pull your arm bone back. Armpit hollows out. And then stretch your elbow toward the wall out by your head side. Do the elbow first. From your pelvis, push down through your feet so you stay grounded. But then from your pelvis, really reach your elbow, lift your heart, and then stretch your arms straight. Left thumb up. And breathe. For those that want to go a little deeper, right hand to the outside of the right ankle. And if you're comfortable where you are, just hold it. And breathe. See if you can sustain the posture. That's sometimes the hardest part of the cycle, just to maintain where you are. Cultivate it, grow it. Root down through your feet, and exhale. Sweep back down to the floor, going to downward facing dog pose. Inhale, left leg up, hold. Lift the inner left thigh. Take the base of your right shin back more. And then reach higher with the left leg. Claw all 10 fingers. The pads and the roots go down. Armpits lift. And then melt your upper back. And exhale. Big lunge forward. Walk your hands to the right. Square your right foot. Inhale, come up, left forearm on your left thigh. Bend your left knee so it tracks directly over your ankle. We want the center of the left knee in line with toe 2 and 3. Hug your muscles to the bones. Savor. And then thighs back, tailbone in. Turn your heart toward the sky. Bring your right hand behind your head, elbow down. Armpit back, elbow. Try to stretch the elbow toward the head side. Armpit back more. And breathe. Breathe wherever it's stiff. Now root your pelvis toward the feet. And then stretch your right arm. And then thumb is up, so your palm faces behind you. Nice deep breaths. Turn your heart up toward the sky. Enjoy your breath. See if you can enjoy the pose. You know, it's like we're born, then we live for a while, and then we go to the next stage, or we die. And it's like during the life part, during the middle section, that's where most of the misery is. So we just learn how to savor, work right where you are. If you want to go deeper, then left hand comes down to the outside of the left ankle. And stretch even more. Breathe. And exhale, spin toward the floor. Step back, plank. Slowly come through Chaturanga Dandasana. Shoulders stay back. You can put your knees on the floor if you need to. And then exhale all the way down. Point your toes back. Inhale, Cobra. Lift your side ribs, head of the arm bones back. Claw your finger pads, shoulder blades curl into the back of your heart. And lift your heart. Move your shoulder blades more down your back. Lift the front of the chest up. And with your arm bones back, it frees the heart to expand. Exhale down. Press back, downward facing dog pose. Come down into child's pose. Big toes touch, knees a little wider. Take a couple of deep breaths as you rest. Slowly come up from child's pose. Come into all fours. And glide your right knee forward for pigeon. Walk your left knee back. Right knee towards the right hand. Curl your back toes under. And now move your left hip forward more. Right hip back more. And then exhale, fold. Full deep breath. Try to keep your hips and pelvis square to the floor. Left hip forward, right hip back. And then inhale, press up. Lean a little bit onto your right hip and widen the angle. You're going to bring your shin forward. Ultimately, you want the shin to be parallel to the front edge of the mat. But if that's too much, then you can bring your foot further down. And then the hard part here is to come off the right hip. So square your hips again. And your right knee may come off the floor a little bit, but your hips are square. The left hip comes forward, right hip back. And this is a good time to decrease the angle of the foot. You just feel any intensity, like too much in your hip or too much in your knee. You shouldn't feel any pain in your knee. Then press the little toe edge of your right foot down and bring your left hand in the sole of your right foot and push foot to hand. And that action widens the right sitting bone. Draw your tail in and fold forward. And contemplate your misery. This is a really deep stretch, and it's really good for the hips. I don't know about you, but I've been sitting at the desk more hours of the day than normal, probably because I'm staring at the screen to get work done. But this is a great stretch to just get your hips to open up after a long day. And exhale, release. Stretch it back into downward dog pose. And then take your left foot to the right of center. And we'll do the same thing. Lower your left knee out to the side. I'm skipping the first part of the stretch. You could, if you want, go into the easier pigeon pose first. Or just keep your shin straight out in front. Then widen your thighs apart, take your left sitting bone more toward the floor, and then press the little toe edge of your left foot down and put your right hand into the sole of the left foot. I'll show you in this position. Here. And square your hips to the front. That's going to shift the stretch so it's more on the left hip. Push your foot into your hand, tailbone in, and fold. Nice deep breath. So you should have a pretty intense stretch by now. So now use your breath to let go. There's a certain sense of clinging when the reality is we're powerless to change something. Trying to change the unchangeable is really expending a lot of extra energy. So use your breath, let go, be with the stretch just as it is, try to savor it, be with it, rather than resist, kick and struggle and fight. All right, now, here's the next stretch. Watch closely. Okay, right leg comes forward into Agni Stambhasana. Couple of tips. Number one, you may have to sit up on a block or a couple of blankets would work. That will make it easier for you. And another modification you can try, if this is just completely impossible, is forget about ankle on knee. You're just going to sit Sukhasana like this and try to get your ankles as close to being underneath your knees as possible. The shins are out in front, parallel. If you've got this part, then put your hand in your foot, both hands in the soles of the feet, and then push your feet into your hands. This action activates the sitting bones, and the sitting bones are going to push apart, and that's what opens up the hips. Point your little toe edges of your feet more toward the floor. Then from your pelvis, push straight out through your knees. You're going to move from your pelvis through your knees straight forward. This is a very deep surgical process. Then Agni Stambhasana is the fire log. If you want a little more fire, pull your tailbone in, fold forward. Keep your eyeballs in their sockets. And breathe. And see with the breath over time, see if your right knee goes down a little bit more. Okay, inhale, come up, ready to switch? No. Okay, switch the position. Remember, variation, modification is you just sit with your shins crossed this way, but don't put your ankle on top of your knee. Otherwise, try ankle on knee. And if you can't hear me because your knee is like covering your ear, then sit up, kind of block or a blanket. And it's amazing. It makes everything so much easier because it's giving you a little more anterior tilt to the pelvis. Okay, so wherever you are, place your hands in the soles of your feet and then push. The action is like this kind of action. The feet go into the hands. And that action takes the sitting bones and pushes them apart. It's really great action. Then tailbone in, fold forward, and from your pelvis, push straight out through your knees. If you start to get smoke coming out of your hips, call 911. Full deep breaths. Nice deep breaths. And now inhale, come up. Good, you're going to need a belt for the next one. And we might as well get some blocks ready. So have a couple of blocks nearby. Take your belt and come on your back, and you're going to stretch the right leg up in the belt. Stretch your left leg straight out. Pull on the belt. Bring your foot towards you, but press your right thigh away from you. And your left thigh to the floor, or as close as you can. Bring it to the floor. Then hold the belt with the right hand and bring your leg out to the right. For more stretch, just pull the belt so your foot comes closer towards your head. Continue to activate your legs. Your left leg, don't let your left leg drift over to the right. Keep it steady. And breathe, savor the stretch. In a way, like you can't really do much about the first and the last cycles. Like being born, like there's nothing you could do. It just happened. And when we go out and we die, there's not going to be much you can do there either. So the focus really comes into maintenance. How to really savor the experience that we have. And knowing that the cycle is going to come. Life is precious, time is urgent. Then we learn how to stay present more of the time. Inhale, right leg up. Hold the belt with your left hand. We're just going to go a little bit past midline. And then you can roll all the way over onto the left hip. Let your foot come either down to the floor or almost down. And take your right arm out to the right side. And reach the belt with your right hand, and then bring your leg back up. Exhale, release your right leg. Bring your left foot up. Stretch your right leg out. Pull your foot towards you as much as you can.
but also push your left thigh away from you. As soon as your right leg goes all the way down to the floor, you can have a low back curve. And how do you get that? You may have to back off the left leg. Once you have the curve, low back is not touching the floor, then you can pull on the belt. Push your left thigh back, stretch. Press up through your left heel. And then bring your left leg out to the left. Keep your right leg steady, hug it to the midline, but don't let it follow. Bring your left leg over to the right. Hold it with your right hand. And first just go a little bit, savor where that stretch is. It's more the IT band, hamstring. And then roll onto the right hip. Bring your left arm out to the left. Right thigh goes back, tail in. Up. Exhale, release. Okay, now for Shavasana, I'd like you to come into some semblance of Supta Baddha Konasana. What is that? Well, the soles of the feet go together like this. You put a block underneath both of the knees. And you really want to prop the knees up so there's no strain at all. And then if you've got a couple of blankets, you unfold the blanket and on the long end, fold it once. So it should look like this. That goes in the middle of your mat. The same thing with the second blanket. But then cantilever it so it's back by a couple of inches. And try to get the smooth edges of the blanket to be up against your body. Sit on the sticky mat. The blankets are a couple inches back because we want that first blanket to catch the low back. The second blanket is right at the base of the thoracic spine. So you've got your blocks. Some of you know to put a belt behind your back and around the ankles. I'm going to skip that because of time. And just lie back. Adjust your blankets. Very good. Okay, now the last step is you take the top blanket and you're going to curl it under, just right underneath the neck. There it goes. So you can curl it underneath the neck so that the curve of the neck is supported. And once you've got that, bring your arms by your sides, palms up. Please adjust anything that's not comfortable. Those blankets need to be just right. That's better. And once you're all comfortable, then close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths and savor the experience of letting go. The last phase of the cycle, dissolution. It's also known as transformation, where we let ourselves shift into a timeless space. one of the sweetest of the phases, yet one that we fear the most. Because you have to let yourself slip into the unknown. If you go inside now with your eyes closed, feel how wonderful that feels. You just keep following your bliss until you completely let go. Give over your muscles, your bones, to the supports beneath you. Let go of all stress, all cares, no worries. Slowly become aware. Savor the stillness. Let it register. Feel your muscles, bones, and organs relaxed, heavy. And come to a place deep inside yourself where there's santosh, contentment. And from that very deep place of inner peace, offer thanks. And then slowly begin to stretch. You can draw your knees back together. And very carefully roll off the blankets to your right side. You can move the blankets aside and just rest in the fetal position for a moment. And then very slowly come up to a seated position. Turn your thigh bones in. Join your index fingers and thumbs. Close your eyes. Take a moment to just breathe freely. Savor the opening in your hips and legs. Allow a certain kind of ease to settle into your hips. And let your spine grow long. Like a newly sprouted plant in the springtime. The roots descend into the earth and the stem of the plant grows up toward the light. Lift your heart. Take the head of your arm bones back. Let the leaves unfurl. Lift your throat. Draw your palate back. And sit gently, self-contained, open to the elements, and steeped inside in the inner peace. Allow your breath to flow and allow each moment to flow as the three phases of reality transition from beginning to middle to end, over and over again. Honor the cycles of life, and then honor the phase that you find yourself in. And without resisting change or trying to change the unchangeable, let life have its own rhythm. And then slowly bring your palms together in front of your heart. May we savor each moment, because each moment is precious. This life is precious. May our practice honor that preciousness and tenderness in ourselves and in others. And let's offer light to each other and to all those in need.
place of deep inner peace. Let's take a breath and chant Om. Namaste.